see if Derek's here. Let me see if Derek's here. Hey guys, so I promised that we would do a Sister Talk Live today with Derek. And so I'm just trying to see if he's in here or not, Derek Jackson. So, the subject matter tonight is dating. Like, I know a lot of us are, trying to figure out, how to... Dating already was very ghetto, and now we're in quarantine, and so now it's especially ghetto. Okay, you're here, Derek? Okay, I'm going to call you. Let me call him now. Hold on. So when I say I'm Jessie Woo's daughter, I am.
Jessie Woo! What up?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little cold up here, man. I'm in Denver, Colorado, but I am good. How you doing today?
No, you was not in Denver. It's probably cold as ice.
Oh man, no, it's actually cold as ice. I don't know if you can see, like it's literally cold as ice. Like it's for real. it's ghetto up here. It is ghetto up here.
Oh,
what's going on with you, man? You got your ring light and shit. I told you not to come with that prom ready makeup, homecoming queen ready makeup.
You see me?
I see you, man. I see you. Yeah, you right though about the whole date being ghetto right now.
Yeah, it's really ghetto. So that's what I wanted to chit chat with you about, because we all know. First of all, I know I speak for everybody when I say you're like all of our dating coach. Like, we always go to your page to get all your advice, because men are just so ghetto, and we don't be knowing. We don't be knowing what's going on with the men. So I feel like you always really just give us good insight on how to communicate, how to deal with men. And yeah, so I want to talk to you because dating seems to be something that a lot of me and my friends are talking about right now, especially through the quarantine. So before the quarantine, dating... wait, hold on. For those of us who don't know Derek, which I'm pretty sure everybody does, but do you want to introduce yourself? Like,
I guess so, man. Hey, I'm Derek Jackson. I write books and shit. Nah, for real. I try to help people stop playing themselves, whether you're on the giving or the receiving end of toxicity in a relationship, man. I just believe if you operate from a place of self-love, and I was on that shit before it became trendy and a buzzword and your favorite eHarmony meme years ago, and people thought I was trying to get folks to marry themselves, but instead of like self-respectability, politics, and how you should dress and how loud you as a woman shouldn't talk and how many women we should try to smash as guys, like I just felt like, dog, if you have more respect for yourself, queen, if you have more respect for yourself on a self level, everything else is going to benefit. And that's how I operate. Like my standards are through the fucking roof. And I think if everybody raised their standards for what it is they deserve instead of just operating on what they want, which a lot of people are doing here in this quarantine, it'll be a lot less bullshit going around. So yeah, that's my MO, man. That's the type of time I'm on.
Well, I love that, because I love that you said standards, because I feel that having standards sometimes makes, like, as a woman having standards, sometimes we get a lot of flack for that. Like, do you feel that as a woman we should have high standards when we're going into dating?
Absolutely. I think you should have high standards, low expectations. Like, when you got high standards, you are a challenge. You're more of a challenge. And unfortunately, we haven't really learned to dignify women as a challenge, because we don't see the blessing that it can be if we accept such challenge. So what we want is an enabler. A lot of times now, I'm just talking to the naturalists, just like people naturally are lazy as fuck until they start reaping the rewards of hard work. It's like guys want a woman to just be the doormat, just be the yes woman, all of that, until we reap the rewards of a real ass woman that pushes to be our greatest. So for those of y'all who have standards, you ahead of the 8 ball, man. You ahead of the 8 ball. You coming into a generation that says, I want it easy. I want you to shut up, look pretty, cook my food, just get pregnant, etc. Be cool with me cheating, be cool with me doing all of my bullshit. And I say, you know what? We've had generations of women on that type of time with our great granddaddies and shit like that. So they grew up seeing, like our guys grew up seeing that type of shit, but now y'all are a different caliber. Y'all are a whole different breed, but y'all are ahead of the 8 ball. We still on that old shit. So yeah, I definitely think that you should keep your standards high, but your expectations low, because niggas ain't caught up yet.
So this is why I asked that, because I feel like a lot of times if you do have high standards, it's kind of looked down upon, especially as a girl, as a woman. You know, women are just leading the pack. Like, women are CEOs. Women are governors now. Like, women are setting the, opening so many doors in so many different industries. And you kind of see men from every background kind of being left behind, even though men still lead in the industries that women are prevalent in.
Yeah.
You kind of see men are kind of like lagging a little bit. So women, we have all these standards, but then a lot of times men are like, oh, but you asking for too much. Like, what is your idea? I guess what would be your idea of a woman asking for too much?
The only way I say a woman is asking for too much is when what she's asking for is inconsistent with the value she can bring. So you asking for way too much if you saying, I want me a boss, but you ain't nothing but a ball of fucking stress. You know what I'm saying? Like, a boss already has a lot of fucking stress, a lot of stuff on his back. He needs a woman that not necessarily be his peace, but doesn't disturb his peace. So you can't say that. If he can't bounce ideas off of you because you just want to watch bullshit all day, you're going to have zero priorities. You don't want to, help him flip the bag and make him multiply. You just want to burn it out and be a fine-ass setback. Then you can't be asking for no boss-ass dude. That's when I think you're asking for too much. Or if you have your priorities on the wrong things. So if you like, you know what, you haven't even done the homework on yourself to understand what really makes you happy over the long term. Like, makes you feel secure, safe, like you really got a best friend in that guy. So now your priorities are on bullshit like, oh, I want his hairline to be really sharp. I want his abs to be cut. And it's like, okay, cool.
What's wrong with wanting the hairline?
I'm getting there. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm getting there. But if that's a deal breaker for you over the way that he treats you, you know what I'm saying? This same guy, he got a sharp razor, he got the fade, but he choosing on your little sister. Like, that's whenever you're not necessarily asking for too much, but you asking for the wrong shit. You need to get your priorities straight. There ain't nothing wrong with like the little V-cut motherfuckers be having in their hips, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. But that can't be where you make your cuts at. Especially if every dude that you done came across sold drugs, in and out of prison, beating up your little brother and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We can't have that.
Okay, so let's talk about the talking versus dating.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people who were kind of caught in those phases, quarantine hit, and you really saw where you stood with somebody. So can you tell us? No, I'm dead ass, because like, I told you, I've already told you, like, I haven't dated. So, but I've had a lot of people who I was talking to.
Okay.
And once quarantine hit, I shut down. I'm like, listen, well, shit, we ain't getting out of this anytime soon. I wasn't really so bye. Yeah. But then it's like a lot of dudes that was talking to me prior, now they all coming back. I'm like, so what is the difference between the talking phase and the dating phase? Because I feel like some people got caught in that.
I'm going to tell you straight up, Jessie, I ain't talked to nobody since I was probably in fucking 11th grade. Like, we too old for fucking just talking.
Thank you.
I might have your number, you know what I'm saying? And look, I'm a married man, but I'm saying, like, in general, let's just say hypothetically, I might have your number. We might be all right, but either we dating or we not. Like, we either working towards something, I'm seriously interested in you, or we not. Now, that other shit was for 18 years old, 19 years old, maybe. So I don't know about no talking shit, but I tell you this, there's a lot of dudes that got to go back home to their old lady and stay there. So they can't answer the phone for such and such over here and such over there.
That quarantine hit and you found out who was who. You found out, are you dating or or was he actually single? He wasn't really single. Like, it's like, how do you explain it in layman terms? Because I agree with you. I feel like, here's what talking is to me, and tell me if I'm correct to you. Talking to me is we've been on the phone a couple times. That's talking to me.
Still ain't past no
Dating,
first. I just kind of know you. Not even know you. I've been introduced to you. That's it. We ain't even talking.
Okay. Because for me, it was like talking, I felt like, okay, we had a couple phone calls. Okay. I feel like dating is like when you actually take me on dates. Like, hey, get ready. You know, then there is the exclusive, being exclusive where, okay, now we make it clear that we're in a relationship. Am I right as far as your point of view? Talking, dating, relationship?
I look at the difference between any stage, if we're going to dignify talking as an actual stage, as the intention behind it. So talking is, like I said, literally, I just got introduced to you, and that's it. I don't really dignify talking. I'm 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on now. But the level of intention. So in dating, you're trying to collect data. The level of intention is not, we're not committed. I'm not trying to shut you off from nobody or anything like that. I'm just trying to see if we can even get along on a personality level. You know, are your jokes funny? Or are they offensive? Are you creepy? Do you have good hygiene? I'm just trying to collect data on what you know, talking about. And then we go into the relationship phase where I'm saying, all right, cool. Now I'm trying to see if all that shit you was talking in the dating phase lines up with your character. My intention now is to assess your character as a person. Do you have compatible character? And that only can be showed over the long term because we're talking about patterns. That's what reveals character. And then when you're talking about marriage, now the level of intention is, look, we're trying to grow as one. We got one legacy, one last name. We got one set of ways that we pass on to our kids. We got one business that we groomed, or one set of whatever it is. We got one thing, like we talking commitment, no matter what the case is. My intention is completely different. The door is shut, closed, dead bolted. It's me and you. You a part of me, I'm a part of you. You my other whole, not my other half.
Woo,
so
hallelujah.
Intention sets everything apart.
Praise the Lord. Praise God. I can't wait till I'm married because this shit is so ghetto. Okay, so
Yeah, you need to wait till your ass to date, because last time you just said you ain't been dating either. I don't know what the fuck you said you gonna do.
Tell me if I'm crazy, because I kind of want to skip dating. I kind of just want to meet my husband.
Don't we all?
Dating is ghetto. Dating is ghetto. It's just ghetto. And then, like, okay, I want you to address something for me too.
All right.
Then I want to talk about how do you know you're really exclusive with someone besides the obvious. But
I'm not a rude guy, but I gotta stop you there. It's only the obvious that's gonna tell you whether or not you're exclusive with somebody. Go ahead now. I'm gonna let you finish.
It's true,
but it's only the obvious that tells you if you are exclusive with somebody. Again, I ain't been trying to be rude. Go ahead and finish. But
I'm asking because I know that I see a lot of people have those questions, and even in your comments too, it's like people still ask that. But okay, I feel that today it's just hard to be courted. I feel like men today have a hard time knowing how to court you appropriately. Okay, for instance, I'm gonna give you a scenario. I met a guy back in December. I did this thing called Kwanzaa Crawl. So basically, we're going from bar to bar to bar. You meet people, and a lot of times it's single people. You're bar hopping together, and it's for Kwanzaa.
Right.
So I met a guy. He was so fine, tall, dark, 6'3". He had good credit. Well, I mean, I feel like he had good credit. Okay. But in my spirit, I felt it. But no. So we talk a little bit. We exchange numbers, right?
Okay.
So I don't hear from him until a week down the line. And when I hear from him, he's on some, hey, just very vague. Hey, what's up? I'm like, okay, what's up? And he's like, what you doing? Immediately, I just stop answering. So I'm like, I'm sorry. You're not about to what you do me, what you doing, what you doing. Like, we're not about to do the what you doing all fucking day. Like, so he hit me with what you doing. I'm like, come thinking, okay, he's probably trying to see what I'm doing so he could hit me up. I told him what I'm doing. He's like, all right, cool. Then he hits me again with the second what you doing, like hours later. And that's when I was like, listen, I don't do the what you're doing. Now, I prefer phone calls. And beyond that, I prefer to be taken out on a date. Right. And he was like, well, these days, people just like texting. I was like, okay, well, that's people. I don't do that.
I'm gonna tell you.
I didn't hear from him until this week.
Okay.
Hey, what's up? Do you remember me? I'm like, yeah, you're the guy I met at Kwanzaa Crawl who never called me.
Right.
Who never hit me up.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there's a disconnect somewhere when it comes to dating, because that's just one scenario I've been in where it's just like, okay, what happened to the, hi, what are you doing Friday night? I would love for you to get dressed and I would love to pick you up and take you out.
Let me just, first off, I'm gonna just give you my thoughts from the outside looking in on that situation that you just articulated. Mm-hmm. You were in queue. Women do this as well, but you were in queue. You ever call customer service and you got put in queue?
I get what you're saying, in queue.
You were number 7 or 8 in queue. So you're talking about a guy, like you said, he looked like he got good credit, he fine, 6'3", he chopped, whatever. Like, so you ain't the only person.
That's how I said it?
That's exactly how you sounded doing it. Oh, he fine, he got this. So you weren't the only woman that recognized those things. Chances are this guy already had some pending baby mama, some pending girlfriend, and all that kind of shit. But you know what? At the same time, you Jessie Woo, he ain't about to just pass you up. So let me see if I can get her number, put her in queue, put her in the batter's box, and then before she's definitely gone, let me see if I can breadcrumb her to just string her on a little bit longer, because I don't know if this one over here gonna work out. Women are actually notorious for this. It's funny that this happened to you, because women are notorious for this shit right here. You can, hey, look, you can verify, tell me I'm lying. Women will do this shit all day, especially if they got a dude that they want and he ain't really pulling no triggers. They'll rack up 3 or 4 replacements just in case. Nonetheless, that's why he started off on some vague bullshit, unless he's just a complete airhead. Most times, I would think, though, like he was only able to attract you enough to even get your number because he had some level of small talk that was in.
Yeah, we had good conversation.
So he's not an airhead. He had you in fucking queue. And now the queue done started clearing out. Mm-hmm. You know,
the quarantine hit.
Yep, you know what I'm saying? Those girls, they got to go back with they dude, or he realized, you know, I don't like being around her more than 2 hours. She was cool for some pussy, but I don't really like being around her. Now we going down, now you next in queue. Now it's, oh shit, what's up? Whoa, what's happening? He got all the conversation, all the personality, all the attention, and you done checked out. That's all that was. Now, as far as guys trying to give as little effort as possible, that's just a human thing. You want something for nothing. People love the stimulus check. You see how many hit records we done got about the stimulus check already? Now, when it came to motherfuckers going to work and earning that $1,200 every 2 weeks, everybody rightly complained about that shit. They tired of going to work. So you're not a stimulus. You gotta understand. You are saying this. You're like in a world full of stimulus checks. You a salary that you got to show up for.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. I'm a salary.
You're a fucking salary.
I'm a salary.
I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, but
I'm a salary.
Straight up. So, and I'm saying this because there's a lot of women who have that same type of viewpoint that you do. Like, damn, like, is it too much to ask to be taken on a date without me having to ask or even say, hey, I want to go on a date? Like, typically, those are women who are salaries, carry themselves as such, identify as such, but you got to understand, there's a lot of stimulus checks out here. There's women out here, I mean, you know, motherfucker ain't got to put no food on his stomach, and he get whatever. Raw. You know, I mean, shit, she might need to be the one to put food on his stomach and then give him some. Or whatever it is that he wants. So we getting into this, honestly, Jessie, and I hate to say this out loud, but we get into a place where a lot of guys are now feeling like the prize.
You know what? Can I tell you something? No, can I tell you something? I had a guy tell me that 2 weeks ago. I literally had a guy tell me this 2 weeks ago. I want to give you another scenario. So this was just somebody who I was seeing back when I was in college, but he's much older than I am. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we reconnected recently, but it's just kind of like he wasn't really on nothing. Like, again, I wasn't hearing the, hey, let me take you out. Let me do something special for you. Let me, you know what I mean? Like, we hung out and got Chick-fil-A. Yeah. After, you know, he had to shoot a show. He's in the business. Okay. He writes for a show, so we were there, whatever. We went on set, and then we got Chick-fil-A afterwards, and that was it. And so when quarantine hit, he was on some, man, I miss you. I'm like, what do you miss? We didn't do anything. There's nothing to miss. You know what I mean? And so we get into that conversation. He's like, well, you know, I want to do this, that, and the third, but you know what I mean? I'm the prize. Like, I'm the prize too.
Nigga.
And I'm just like, what?
Yeah. First of all, who says that anyway? Like, I don't know.
Why do you feel like men are going that route where they feel like they're the prize?
Oh, man. There's a lot of shit involved. So it's a lot of layers to this. One thing we don't like to talk about, the elephant in the room, is that a lot of these guys are badly raised out the gate. It ain't even like, oh, he became an adult and he was this clean slate and then he got turned out by some type of, I don't know, red pill motherfucker. Like, a lot of dudes out the gate were coddled by their moms. So they were made to feel like the prize out the gate. Why were they coddled by their moms? Because now we're going to get a little, not real deep, but a lot of fathers were removed from the home. So when we had that whole epidemic of, you know, moms raising these sons, and I'm all for it. I was raised by a single mom, first off. Yeah. But I've seen the impact of a mom who doesn't make much of a separation between the role that her son plays and the role that a romantic man should play. So now if there's a boy and a girl, the boy can do no wrong. The boy gets coddled. The girl gets raised. The boy gets coddled. And now when he grows up, he's expecting the world to do that in a romantic sense as well. Coddle him. Cater to me. You know, fall down by my needs. Give me what I want.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the big root of there's a lot of layers to it, but I think that's the biggest root of the problem. A lot of guys, whether they were directly raised by their moms or they were influenced, because there's so many more guys now that were raised by just their moms. And again, and this is something like, on the other hand, I can't really blame a lot of moms because nobody gave a blueprint on how to raise a child by yourself, how to psychologically groom a young man into being just like a man, not to be your man. So now we have a lot of guys walking around who's expecting that mommy treatment or that mommy preference, that mommy privilege.
But I feel like, okay, I feel like men should obviously respect themselves, right? They should have standards about themselves. But maybe I just am just a little still old school when it comes to, like, I feel like the woman is the prize. Like, it just doesn't matter how much a man does bring to the table.
Right.
The prize is the woman, because whatever a man brings to the table, a woman's gonna multiply that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a good woman, at least.
Right.
Like, you bring something to the table, she's gonna multiply that. Whether it's you bring some groceries, or whether it's you bring a business idea, or whether you bring, like, it's just she's there to nurture. Like, a woman just nurtures. You know what I mean? So I feel like the woman is always the prize. Do you feel like there is a sense of it is correct for a guy to see himself as the prize?
This is what I think, Jessie, and this is something a lot of people disagree with me on. I think that both should be the prize. And this is what I mean. Because when you think of, okay, you're a woman, you're a prize, right? Let's just go with that for a second. What does that make the man? The recipient, right? Something like that. But that's why you have so many men who do what they got to do to catch the prize, and then they get into a relationship and they stop putting in work. Because all they were supposed to do is they were just supposed to be the recipient, receive the prize. If you ever receive a prize or a trophy, what happens? You get it, you hold on to it, and that's it. But I think the prize deserves a prize too. So not only should you be multiplying and manifesting and making shit pop once you guys have reached the threshold of being each other's, but he should also take a responsibility to manifest things in you. Get rid of those insecurities, encourage you, lift you up, teach you new shit that you never would have known without him. In that case, he would also be a prize. I think the best relationship is when two people feel lucky as fuck to have each other.
Oh,
so
yes.
I think you can be the, like, when you say prize, like, I think the guy can be the initiator. You know what I'm saying? If he has leadership qualities, his testosterone, that's talking about, hey, when I see it, I want it, and tunnel vision on it. I'm not considering all this, that, and the other. You know, as a guy, hypothetically, I want Jessie Woo. I got to make sure she know where I stand, know what kind of caliber guy she's getting with. But not necessarily you being just the prize, because that's why you see a lot of our great-grandmothers burned out serving, being the prize to our lazy-ass granddaddies that sat back there just waiting for their food to get delivered to the room, yelling from the room, and ain't did shit to encourage her or facilitate her mental health. They stopped being anything of value once they got the prize. So I would like for our whole school of thought to build on tradition. I have no problem with a woman being the prize, but it's just like y'all deserve a prize too. You get what I'm saying?
So let's talk about dating in the quarantine, because like for me, I feel like, you know, going into quarantine, like I'm not attached to anybody, but I do feel like I have like kind of met people here and there online, like throughout quarantine. It just feels like everybody's kind of messaging each other and trying to get to know each other. And I kind of feel like we're in a fantasy world right now.
Yeah.
Because we know we don't have like the access that we used to have when it came to other people. So I find myself kind of getting attached a little bit, like, and I'm like, no, I can't get too attached. Like, this is just not real. Like, how do you have any advice for those of us who are kind of trying to see what we can do during these times?
And I'm gonna be 1000% with you. First and foremost, this is unprecedented times. Like, there's never been dating during the quarantine. Like, that's some complete shit. We don't have generations to look to and say all this data to look to. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I've studied this all my life. Yeah. But if you're brand new into this, I would just advise you against dating from a void of things to do, a void of certainty, any type of fear. Nothing healthy, like no healthy seeds have ever taken root and produced fruit in that type of soil. So with that, it sucks if you don't have nobody to entertain, but I would say at absolute like most, try to keep a distance as you get to know and connect with new people. So now we talking like the talking phase needs to extend a whole lot longer. You know, like, of course you're not going to be like, hey, let's go quarantine together, because you know you're going to get pregnant by somebody you just know in 2 weeks. But definitely not give it more credit than what it warrants in this quarantine time, because what happens when there is no quarantine? What happens when outside open back up? And it's still sundress season, and it's or sweatpants season for y'all. You know what happens then? And you done made a connection and really invested feelings into this person because both of y'all were just bored and lonely and desperate for something to do and distract you from all that's going on. Now, if you already in a relationship and you're trying to keep things popping, this is really like a long distance relationship. Outside, I mean, unless you make it, you know, not long distance and you move in. But long distance, and then you got to find ways to just kind of connect. And my favorite long distance days, I say my favorite 2 or 3. I like listening parties. You ever done a listening party remotely? Like, basically, I think you can tell a lot about a person based on what songs connected them the most. Like any of your favorite songs, it's not just the sound, it's the lyrics. So a listening party where you line up your songs, he lines up his songs, and then y'all get on the phone and listen to the song, and then you articulate why this song touched you, why this song spoke to you, the story behind it, how you can relate, etc. And then y'all trade off getting to know each other through your favorite music. That's one. Of course, Netflix and chill, that's a normal one. Y'all play the movie at the exact same time. Y'all watch it remotely. That's nothing new. I like book discussions. I like, hey, this is a book that intrigued me. You know what I'm saying? Let's read one chapter. Whether y'all read to each other or y'all just make it just a discussion after each chapter that y'all read. And I'll even add one more because I created a game for people, especially that's in long distance relationships.
I know that you did that too. How is it? Can you tell us the game more about it?
Yeah. So Mentally Stimulate Me card games, which I'm actually changing the name a little bit, but Mentally Stimulate Me will still be a part of the brand. But yeah, man, it's all about stimulating conversations. So it's a lot of hypothetical scenarios. What would you do in this situation or that one? So you can get to know somebody without interrogating the fuck out of them and actually have fun in the process. So say, for instance, I'll give you one question. I wish I had one here, but I'll give you one question and you can tell me. What do you think the closest safe distance to a former flame is? I'm talking like an ex or something like that. A, acquaintances. B, besties. C, work buddies or associates. Or D, absolutely nothing whatsoever.
For me?
What was that?
What will be my answer?
What would be your answer to that? Let's just that's
absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing close to a former flame. I want to know in the comments, what do y'all say? Now we're gonna make it interactive a little bit. What do y'all say is the closest safe distance to a former flame? Now I'm talking about if you're in a new relationship, by the way.
Okay, you know what? Wait, I misunderstood the question.
Okay.
I thought you meant what is it for me right now? Which, because me and my ex, we don't talk at all. So.
No, like, okay, so we're talking about how close are you able to be with somebody you used to fool with, just physically, emotionally, or whatever, while you're in a new relationship. Acquaintances, besties, work associates only, or D, nothing whatsoever.
Acquaintances.
Acquaintances. Mm-hmm. You will be cool with him being acquaintances with his ex. Everybody, okay, no, everybody's saying either A or D. But this is where you would converse with a guy, right, on the first date, like that, and it would come forward whether or not he's best friends with his ex. And I've seen a lot of people on that type of shit. And then you get to talking about it and say, you know what? Is it really insecurity that you don't want your man or your woman to be best friends with somebody that they once fell in love with, to hold on to a piece of what they built in that relationship? And then that starts a whole process of putting mindsets on the table so you know who you're dealing with. Because I don't know about you, Jessie. I have had situations where somebody's become instantly unattractive just by the way that they think.
Of course.
I don't care. I'm not one, like, don't get me. I like a fat ass and titties like the next man. Mm-hmm. But I'm not one.
I like when niggas can feel their gray sweats.
You feel me? Okay, then it's okay. Like, we visual, we like what we like. But when a motherfucker really just dumb or is just fucked up, I saw one girl say, you know what? If her husband and her child was in a burning building, she would save her husband because she can always make another child. That type of shit scares me the fuck up.
Wait, what?
I want to know that off top. Like, are you really? This girl said if her husband and her child were both in a burning house, right? And she had to save one of them, she gonna save the husband because she can always make another child.
Oh no.
So
no.
I want to save people situations where they get deeply invested with somebody they didn't know thought the way that they thought before they get into an actual situation. And now created the card game. It's going ridiculous too, by the way.
Well, listen, you gotta send me that card game whenever you have a chance. Send it to me.
Yes, Claimer, that's for real. I know I got you. And it's at msmcardgame.com. We actually sold out because people at home right now.
Yeah.
But it's only for like the next week we get a new shipment. But msmcardgame.com is where everybody can get it. But you know, I got you. Well, come on.
So lastly, I wanted to ask, how do you know that you truly, truly want to be in an exclusive relationship with someone? Like, what are the keys to that? And I know you're a guy, but I feel like you could give us from a male perspective, what should a woman look for when making that decision? Because I feel like, a guy can be like, I want you to be my girl, I want you to be my girlfriend, but has he really like shown you what he's supposed to show you to make sure that this is where you guys are heading? So what do you feel like we should look for in heading into a serious situation?
Well, I'll give you a key defining characteristic. And that's if he was already looking for that before he met you. So many women, because we watch these movies, we read these books, and they're romantic, and it's just like, man, because the woman is so dope, she inspires a man's wanting to be in a serious relationship. 9 times out of 10, it don't work like that. 9 times out of 10, that man was looking for something, and he's looking for somebody who fits that bill. So if he was playing the game, if he was doing his due, if he was around here fucking around, you may excite him enough in the moment for him to say, man, you know, I don't want nobody else. I just want to be with you. But you're not always going to be that version of yourself that put him in that honeymoon phase mindset. At some point, you're going to be the real human, flawed you. So what happens then? Well, he's going to revert back to what his default is, which is whatever it was that he was on beforehand. In the same way, vice versa, if a guy is looking for just pussy, it don't matter how amazing you are. If he's just looking for pussy, that's all he's going to want from you. That's all he's going to see from you. And then also the other way around, you see a lot of guys who get in relationships with women, you be like, damn, like that's who he chose? That motherfucker was ready for a serious relationship whenever he chose her. If he's all in, now we talking about guys that's all in. And you see them with somebody, not even just physically, you're just like, the way that she handle herself, the way that she handle her relationship, she's fucking embarrassed. Like, you just, not trying to slander, but you're like, come on, dude, do you know?
Yeah.
That man was ready for a serious relationship before he even came across her. So what I would say is, if I was a woman or talking to my sister, I would say, look, man, look for somebody who was already on this type of time. I mean, to the point that having random chicks didn't even tickle his fancy anymore. Like he don't even want to just have the randoms. Ain't no phone blowing up and this, that, and the other that you and all your greatness got to stop or inspire him to stop doing. Ain't none of that because he's really not interested. He's not making time for that. It's not even on his priority list. That's whenever you have the safest hands to put your heart in as far as like a long-term, serious, monogamous, exclusive relationship.
And what do you feel like, I mean, you do say, okay, the man, obviously he was prepared for that, but what do you feel attracts a man to say, you know what, she is the one that I want to take serious?
I would say, first off, what's going to be a good representation of him? Based on his standard for himself, what's going to be a good representation of him? So, like, let's say for me, if you know, dating again, and I come across a woman, I don't care how attracted I am to her. If she's going to make me look bad, if I have to apologize for her behavior or things that she might say to my mom, to my friends, or to people in general,
Men
I can't fuck with her long term. She's a bad look. She's a bad feel. Huh?
Men think about that? Because I just feel like men think like that. Like, oh, is she going to... Because I feel like I've seen men from a lot of... Like, sometimes I see men from certain backgrounds. I'm like, damn, how did... But it goes back to what you said, which was he was ready. But sometimes I don't see some prominent men with some girls. I'm like,
well, I always say, you know, it depends on that guy's value. I can't speak for all men. Because let me tell you something, sometimes powerful men look at women, even their wives, as objects. So even to their dudes, it's like, that ain't a reflection of me. That's just my main, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I can't speak like that because my woman's going to be my partner. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's my other hole right there. That is a reflection of me. If I go down, I know she holding it down. So first and foremost, I'm looking at that. Secondly, I'm looking at what soul ties you got. Now, again, I can't speak for all guys.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, I'm looking at what soul ties you got. What guy still is on, like, imprinting himself on your spirit, like to the point where if he going through something, you checking on him. You're going through something, he just happened to be checking on you. He come into town, you just a phone call or a text away. What type of guy got you on that type of time? I'm looking at soul ties. I'm looking at your growth pattern. What have you been doing to work on yourself? Otherwise, if you haven't been working on yourself and progressing as an individual, we're not going to be able to relate very long. Even if right here in this town we good, like in 6 months to a year, I'm still obsessed with becoming the best version of me. You're going to resist that. You may even resent me for it. You may even try to bring me down because of it. And you see it a lot of times with men and women. You see a woman who's like, you know what, I'm pushing myself to be great. You see this guy that says, no, I want you to fit into this box of what makes me comfortable. So I would say, you know, like, again, it's hard to speak for all guys across the board because it's really based on who he is, what he's looking for. If he's a mama's boy, he's looking for somebody to play that mommy role. If he's broken, he's looking for a fixer. You know, if he's an abusive guy, he's looking for a punching bag. It depends on who that guy is. But for somebody who's growth-oriented, somebody who's trying to build a legacy, break generational curses, and somebody who wants something pure that don't belong to everybody else that she's been with because she never broke those soul ties, that's what he's looking for.
Okay, and last but not least, okay, so where can we find a man like you? Because I'm seeing everybody in the comments.
I'm humbled by that.
How can he call himself? Where is the niggas that is like Derek? Like where do men like you frequent? Where can we meet a man like you? Like where you be at? Like where does Barry Jackson's be at?
Well, there's not a location. Let me say this, though. First, there are plenty of guys. They a lot of times don't have a platform.
Oh, shit, the connection.
Are we here?
Okay, we're here. Okay.
All right. So there are guys that I look up to, man, mentors of mine and all of that. They just don't have as much of a platform. But now we're in a generation where we create our own platform. But the media definitely doesn't put any focus on those guys. So you won't see them just popped out everywhere. But I'll say this. A lot of times guys are hiding the things that you never got excited about. Now, that's not something we've never heard before. And I'm not one to tell you, like, you are obligated to be with somebody you're not attracted to in order to have real love, because you're not. But sometimes it's not the things that necessarily excite you. That's where it comes with, like, whole self-love, of understanding yourself, understanding what it is that actually fulfills you, not just excites you and looking for that. So it may be the guy who's a little shorter. It may be the guy who, you know, doesn't have the Bentley right now. I'm not saying the broke, financially irresponsible, and stingy motherfucker. I'm talking about the guy who, at face value, doesn't necessarily excite you. And I would go so far as to say, man, even if he don't excite you, give it a try, because once you have real feelings for him, once he's made it clear that you're all his, and you know, like vice versa, like you might actually find him a lot more attractive than what you initially did. He may not impress your homegirls, your mom and them, and be cool for the Instagram going viral, but guess what? He may actually like keep your heart full. You secure now. You got like a life partner, not just a moment. So I would say more so look for that. As far as what I've seen be successful for women. And the guy, again, growth oriented. If this dude did not prioritize growth, and a lot of times we don't, because we're taught that our masculinity is kind of one and the same. What really is narcissism. We're good just the way we are. We ain't got to improve. Everything should fold into us. We're a man. We got balls, so we're amazing. It don't work like that. If that man ain't trying to progress spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, and that hasn't been something he's been on the entire time, yeah, you're not going to get an evolved man.
I hear you, Derek. I hear you. So I feel like what you're telling us is basically stop always looking for what is Instagram-ish, what is viral-ish, because I do feel like right now we are in a society where everything is social media. And a lot of times we see a lot of social media couples, and really that's all it is. It's cool for social media. Like, it is a business. And sometimes I try to tell people this. Don't believe everything that you see. It is a business. There are people who do this for the likes, for the clicks, for the money, for the endorsements. And, you know, they're battling things behind closed doors that you would never even imagine, but you're trying to be what they are. And it's like, no, look for somebody who truly, truly, truly is going to cherish you, like you said.
If you're going to get happily ever after, you can't be a slave for validation. You can't be the one trying to impress everybody else or just align with what you thought your life should look like. You got to do the homework on yourself as you become an adult. Do the homework on yourself. Know exactly what it is you need, and then go get that, no matter what the package is that it comes in. And again, I want to just reiterate this, because I don't want to reinforce that bullshit narrative that women's standards are high because they want somebody who takes care of themselves. They want somebody who cares, like just keeps himself up in any type of capacity. I'm just saying that shouldn't be the deal breaker anymore. At some point, we have to move those things down the priority list and move up the priority list, which speaks to our soul.
Yeah. Especially now, like what we were saying earlier, like women, we're really just bossing up. We're bossing up. And I remember the other day I was saying to my homeboy, I said this jokingly, but I was like, you know, so-and-so, he talking about he want to do this, and he ain't never give me no money. Like, and my friend was like, Jess, you make really good money. Like, that shouldn't even be something that you're looking for from a guy. But I'm like, but still, I still want him to give me money. But still.
You can want that, but how high is it on the priority?
I still want money.
How high is it on the, out of a 1 to 10? Like, how important is it to you?
It's really not. It's really not. And that's why he was telling me that. He was like, Jess, I've never even known you to ask a man for money. But sometimes I will see, going back to what we were saying with the whole social media stuff, like sometimes I will see girls on Instagram talking about, yeah, my nigga got me this, my nigga got me that. And I'm just like, dang, I've never asked a man for money. I've never asked a man to buy me red bottoms, buy me this, buy me that. But I would love if a man said, you know what? You have an idea for this. Why don't I invest in that? Like, here's some money to start up this idea. Or you want to start a foundation. Like, hey, listen, let's go do this, that, and the third. Let's fill out this paperwork. Like, I do want somebody who's going to invest in me versus just giving me money. Right. I do want that. But that is hard, too, to find people who think like that.
Right. So, again, I would go from the values out. Like, does he even value supporting this woman, even if it means that woman is going to excel past him? Like, that's where I would start, as opposed to, does he, put money on your inventory, or does he do this, that, and the other? Like, does he even believe in supporting you? Because it's going to go further than him even just investing in you. Sometimes, again, we talking about bouncing ideas back and forth. We talking about him referring you to resources. We talking about him making a phone call to somebody in his network that can help you, even though he's not putting money on it directly. Right. So, like, the value, the core value, what do you identify that as? And work from there across the board. The values, as opposed to, does he look like this, or does he have this type of money right now? Where is his values at? Because just because motherfucker got money don't mean he gonna put it in the right place. don't mean he gonna see you as a worthy investment. Yeah, I mean, you be crazy. It's so crazy. I don't know. Gold diggers fucking up these days too. Gold diggers ain't even they gold sniffers. They ain't even gold diggers no more. They just want to smell the money, look at it, be around it. They don't get shit from it.
Oh my God, that's a whole other live.
Really, I mean, for even
other live. I always say this. I always say, if you gonna be a hoe, be a smart hoe. Be a smart hoe.
Be smart. If I can be a hoe, be a smart hoe. That's funny.
No, be a smart hoe, because it's like what you said. It's like, I do see that. It's vice versa. Just like how a man sometimes, like, he doesn't know where to put his money. I feel like a lot of women too, if they are looking for a man with money, well, okay, so you just want him to buy you Birkin bags all day? You're not gonna go buy yourself a house. You're not gonna go invest in a damn hairline or something. Like, you're not gonna try to invest that and you know, turn it into something else. I don't know.
Look, so back to what we were saying.
Right, that's a whole
from the values, work your way from the values out. And I think you'll find whatever that guy is for you. And it just may not look like what you thought he was going to look like. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Well, Derek, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I don't want to hold you any longer because I know you're busy and you're doing your own thing. Do you have any like closing remarks, any words of encouragement for me and my sisters that's going through these trying times, these trying quarantine times?
Oh, man. I would just say, man, protect your energy, man. Protect your energy. I'm not one of those that says, you know, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a new 9-figure business, then you wasting your time. You the problem.
Thank you.
Because people that started businesses in this time, they didn't do it during the pandemic. Like not during this time. People that have businesses didn't start it during the pandemic. No. So fuck all of that. But in this time, it's easy to give people access to your energy that haven't earned it. So just be really mindful about that. Other than that, I mean, look, I appreciate you having me on, and I salute you for using your platform in a constructive way. Jessie Woo, you could be up here with an OnlyFans getting it popping so you can get the bills paid. And if you ever get to that, I ain't mad at you. But I'm glad that your first step was you having a dialogue on your platform. You lit. Everybody that follow you is lit, and I appreciate y'all having me tonight.
Because I danced. There's been days when I'm like, you know what? I could just start an OnlyFans. I'm not just start an OnlyFans.
I'm not judging you if you do. If that's what it's come to, I'm not judging you.
But that's not my ministry. That's not my ministry.
But the first step was this, and I can appreciate that. So I salute you.
So thank you so much, Derek. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care of yourself, and thank you again, okay?
All right, no problem. Thank you, guys. That'll be good. Peace.
All right, y'all. Well, that's it for us to talk tonight. I'll let you guys know when the next one is. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you get Derek's card game. Make sure you follow Derek, and again, thank you guys for tuning in. Love you guys. Be safe. Wash your hands and your legs. God bless. Bye.